Welcome to Neumont College of Computer Science's 2021 Commencement Ceremony. As the processional enters, please rise and remain standing until invited to take your seat.
Thank you, and welcome to our 2021 Commencement Ceremony. And thank you to the Maywood String Quartet for that beautiful music as we entered this afternoon. Please now remain standing for the national anthem performed by the Maywood String Quartet. Thank you. You may now be seated. Now we ask that you please join us in a moment of reflection as Neumont student Riley Bird delivers our invocation.
An invocation is a prayer or plea at the beginning of a function, and in our case, it is a petition that our speakers would present well and thereby honor everyone who has come, that our graduates would be blessed, and that our ceremony would follow God's lead. Please pray with me. Our Father God, how wonderful are the works of your hands. As we gather here today to celebrate a step forward into new places with new people and new experiences, let us not forget the blessings that follow behind us. Thank you for the school, which has given us a safe place to learn and a strong foundation to build upon as we take this next step into your world. For our teachers who have so richly loved us and cared for us, even at our worst. For our families who have cheered us on to the finish line and stood by our side through the many bumps in the road. On this day especially, for the friends that we have found among our classmates, for all the jokes that we will laugh about in years to come, for the hardships and tears we have endured together side by side. And most of all, for your love, which has been evident through the relationships we will carry with us beyond these walls. Just as our nation's battle hymn says, let us continue to lay down our lives for each other, just as you gave up your life for each of us. Let us love each other fearlessly and seek your will earnestly all the days of our lives. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Riley. We're now honored to hear from the president of the Neumont College of Computer Science, Dr. Aaron Reed.
Thank you, Ryan. Welcome, everybody. You look fantastic. Graduates, you look amazing. What a great day. So happy and so proud and humbling to be with you all today. Before we get rolling, I wanted to have an opportunity to express some thanks to some people and some groups of people. Emily Cheney, is Emily around? Wanted Emily to come up for a second. I'm just kidding, Emily. Emily threatened she would quit on the spot if I said, come on up. But Emily Cheney and the Commencement Committee, I just want us all to say thank you. Oh, here she comes. You want to say a few words, Emily? Thank you, Emily, for putting this together. Yeah. I'm going to hear about that later today. Students, I want to give you the opportunity, and supporting student supporters, family, loved ones, etc., the opportunity to express your thanks to Neumont's faculty and staff, including all of our student advocates, financial aid, admissions, everybody that helped the students get through this process. Graduating from college is tough. Graduating from Neumont is extremely difficult. And almost nobody makes it alone. Everybody has a group of people that support them: family, loved ones, friends, fellow students, etc. Graduates, please stand up, face your loved ones, and give them a big round of applause, and thank you. And finally, I want to recognize the graduates themselves. They put in tremendous amounts of work and showed exemplary rigor through this process of graduating through Neumont. Congratulations and thank you. Thank you for your examples. Well, Neumont is located in Salt Lake City, Utah. Utah is a beautiful state. Hopefully any of you who are visiting take some time and are able to see the state. It's a beautiful place. Many of Neumont's graduates come here from out of state and stay here. I'm sorry, families, if that's what's happened, or you're welcome, depending on your perspective. But the students, many of them stay here and they love it and they thrive. Utah is a beautiful place. There's so much to do. One of the great things about Utah is we have very few natural disasters on a major scale here. We don't have, we're not next to an ocean. We don't have a lot of hurricane danger and flooding, and our hearts and prayers go out to all those who are affected by this latest hurricane on the East Coast. We don't have, even though we're surrounded by mountains and we have fault lines everywhere, we typically don't have large earthquakes, even though last year in the beginning of the pandemic in the spring, we all felt a series of aftershocks from a major quake that we all enjoyed together. Because of the mountains, we don't have a lot of tornadoes. Those are very rare here in Utah. We're lucky enough to not have those kind of events very often. However, on September 22nd, 2019, there was a tornado right here in Salt Lake City, actually a series of tornadoes. Just to showcase how rare of an event this is, people made t-shirts saying, "I survived the tornado." It just doesn't happen. But these were big tornadoes. They ended up causing about $1.5 million in damage, destroyed a bunch of homes and other businesses and buildings, damaged a lot of others. It was a big storm. I was scheduled to fly out of Salt Lake City Airport to go to San Diego for a conference that morning. And I remember, as I was driving to the airport, looking at this massive storm in front of me, massive, giant, dark, looming clouds. And I'm not afraid of flying. Actually, I love flying, but I don't love turbulence. It does make me a little nervous. And as I was driving to the airport and just looking at this massive storm in front of me, my heart sunk a little bit. I remember feeling a little bit of dread because I knew it was going to be a bumpy ride. I knew it was going to be a rough ride out of here. And driving to the airport looking at that was intimidating, I got to be honest. I got to the airport, and I got onto the airplane, and we taxied out to the tarmac, and we headed down the runway. And as soon as that plane left the safety of touching the ground, it was going all over the place, bouncing everywhere. For you video game development students, I was doing a lot of yaw, pitch, and roll. I was bouncing this way, the plane was bouncing this way, we were going this way, we were going this way. It was wild as soon as we left the ground. And typically pilots, they'll turn the lights off in the cabin on takeoff and descent, and so the lights were off, and the plane was just rocking all over the place, and it was just getting pounded by the wind and by the rain. And as we took off and cleared that first layer of cloud and got into the heart of the storm, it was black, pitch black. No lights on in the cabin, and it was pitch black outside. Even though it was like 8 o'clock in the morning, the sun was shining, but you couldn't see anything. It was dark. And the entire plane was just quiet, and all you could hear is just the beating elements, and you could just feel that plane just cranking and rocking and creaking. It was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking for me and for, I think, everybody on that plane. And there were a lot of times when, we would take a big drop in the middle of that. And I think the rest of us probably wondered, like, are we going all the way down on this drop? There were times where I wondered, are we going to have to turn around and go back to Salt Lake City? This lasted long enough because this was a really tall storm, and as we were trying to get out of it and through it, it lasted long enough that there were times when I thought, are we going to get to San Diego and never get out of this? It's going to last that whole time? It was a long time, or at least it felt like a really long time. What was crazy, though, is at the very end, when it felt like it was almost not ever going to end, and I felt like, and I think we all kind of felt, what's going to happen? We were maybe at the pinnacle of our nerves, that all of a sudden, we popped out of the top layer of those clouds. And what we saw was absolutely amazing. That top layer was so calm and serene. And as soon as we popped out, there was no yaw, pitch, and roll. We went from crazy turbulence, bouncing all over the place, kind of desperation, to perfectly calm. And even more amazing, that dark, black, terrifying storm had this top layer of clouds that was brilliantly white. And the sun was shining, and the sky was beautifully blue, and you saw this gorgeous blue sky, and you saw this layer of white clouds, and the sun just beaming off of it that was just brilliant and spectacular. It was so dramatic that as the plane was rocking and we popped out into that calm, the entire plane let out a gasp, an audible gasp. It was a surreal moment. And as I look back at that, I think about just the allegory of that story for challenges and trials in our lives. I saw 3 different perspectives of that storm ahead. As I was driving to the airport, I saw this looming, almost insurmountable looking storm ahead that caused dread and caused my heart to drop a little bit, knowing I was going to go through some tough times ahead. And in the thick of that storm, there were a lot of times where I didn't know, are we going to make this thing? Are we dropping all the way down? Are we going to crash and burn? Are we going to turn around to go back where we started? Are we going to go all the way through to our destination and never get out of this and have to go through the storm the whole way? And then when I finally came out on the top of that side of the storm and looked back at the exact same storm, the exact same clouds, it was brilliant and beautiful and spectacular. And so many times in our lives, we face challenges, we face trials, we face trauma that affects us the same way. If we knew, sometimes we don't know when it's coming, and if we knew ahead of time and we look at it, we might say, I think I'll fly out on a different day, not today. Or sometimes we don't see it coming, and when we're in the middle of that storm, a lot of times we think, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can do this. I think we might crash and burn, or I might have to turn back and go back where I came from, or it may never end. And when we finally do pop out on the other side and we see that same difficult part of our lives, that same challenge that we just went through, it's brilliant and beautiful. And so much of that is true with what happened with you guys in the last 3 years. You guys, I'm assuming you were pretty pumped to come to college. That's a great time in your life, and I hope you loved every minute of it. But the reality is there were probably a lot of times that were really difficult. Maybe for some of you, the entire time was incredibly difficult. And I'm sure for some of you, you felt like turning around, you felt like you could never make it, you felt like you're never going to find that missing semicolon that's haunting you still. And yet, as you look on the other side of that, you look back, what a beautiful time. What a spectacular time, and how much growth you went through, and what has emerged on the other side is beautiful. And throughout your life, you're going to experience this, not just at Neumont. You're all going through different things, and we're all experiencing a lot of different things all the time. And you're going to go forward with employment and with building relationships and families and friendships and all other aspects of your life. And you're going to find those times where you see that storm ahead, or you're in the middle of that storm and you don't think you can go on, you don't think you can do it. But if you push through with the same intensity and the same persistence and the same rigor that you have shown here at Neumont, you will pop through that upper layer of clouds, and you'll look back at that time of your life and you'll say, that was beautiful and life-changing. So I just want to say thank you to your family members and your loved ones, all those who are here, all those who are joining remote. Thank you so much for letting us experience that storm with your students. What an honor. It's humbling, and we appreciate the trust that you've shown in Neumont and all of us to help your student through that storm. And look at what is arisen out of that storm. They are beautiful. It is amazing. Graduates, congratulations. What a great day. Soak it up. You're not going to remember a thing I said, but you can see it on YouTube, so you'll have it in the future. Someday you'll say, I want to know what they said at commencement, because you're not going to remember anything today. But just soak it up, enjoy it, have a great day. I and all of us at Neumont are looking forward to, as you come through all of those challenges and do amazing things in your work and in your personal lives, the beautiful and serene and amazing things that show from it. And don't be strangers. Come back and visit us. Thank you.
Thank you, President Reed. Neumont's programs are rigorous. They require single-minded dedication and a significant amount of sacrifice and hard work. Neumont is not to be taken lightly. Earning a degree from Neumont is not easy, and achieving academic honors at Neumont is a significant accomplishment. Please join me in recognizing our valedictorians. Kathy Broderick, Christopher Daisley, London Flynn, Nash Mulstead, Jeffrey Ream, and Gladys Stoner. We'll next hear from Kathy Broderick, one of our valedictorians, who will be delivering one of today's valedictorian remarks. Kathy Broderick grew up in the not-so-distant land of Layton, Utah. Kathy only started coding once she reached college. She heard about coding from a high school teacher in her junior year, and then, after receiving a postcard from Neumont, pursued coding at Neumont College. After 1 quarter, she left to serve an 18-month humanitarian mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. She's grateful that she was able to serve that mission and for all that it taught her, compassion and many other things, as she did community service, as she learned conviction, and as she shared her religious belief and hard work. After returning home from her mission, she continued at Neumont, where her knowledge of coding grew. She shared her knowledge as a tutor at Neumont and participated in many coding projects, including Project Showcase, where she built her very first game, Pirates, Capstone, where she made 2D images of faces into 3D objects viewed in virtual reality. After Neumont, Kathy accepted a position as a software engineer and test with Dwello in Draper, Utah. Kathy would like to also thank her family and friends for their support. Without them, she wouldn't have made it here today. It's Kathy.
Good afternoon, everyone. When I was in elementary school, I was once taking an English test, and I got the word extraordinary. Being a young child, I had not at all studied for my test, and so I did what my teachers told me to do. I broke it apart. So I found the word that we had extra and ordinary. And so thus, in my young mind, I was like, extraordinary means super average. Like you are so normal. I have since grown up and I've learned actually what the meaning of extraordinary means. And from Google, it says that extraordinary means very unusual and remarkable. In other words, meaning amazing, astonishing, and astounding. And may I say, Neumont, you are extraordinary in the true sense of the word, not like elementary. But I say you're extraordinary due to your hard work. You're extraordinary due to your humility, and you're extraordinary due to your success. I remember as one of the many project classes I took, it was a mobile application project. And the team I was on, it was basically breaking left and right. I couldn't get the whole thing to work on my computer to save my life. The front end that we had being built was not working at all, and I had no idea what was going on. And what ended up happening was one day it was all broken, and the next day it was fixed. It was almost like a miracle. And what happened over that night is my teammates, who are here also graduating, Brooke and Sear, they stayed up till about 2 or 3 in the morning researching what the problem was, figuring out all the bugs, and fixing it. So in the next day, we had such a beautiful application. And so it's due to the hard work here at Neumont that you can be extraordinary. Keep on working hard. Another thing I've learned is the humility here. When at a Halloween party, I went downstairs to hang out, and I found about a group of 5 or so students with their laptops out working on an assignment. It was Halloween. It was a party. But it was due to their humility that they asked each other for help, and it was extraordinary. They might have been afraid more for their grades than they were of the super scary skeletons, but truly they were extraordinary to spend that time. And then finally, it is extraordinary for your success. I want to share a poem. It's called Success by Burton Braley. And it says, if you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, work day and night for it, give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if only desire of it makes you quite mad enough never to tire of it, makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap for it, if life seems all empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and you dream is about it, if gladly you'll swear for it, fret for it, plan for it, lose all terror of God or man for it, if you'll simply go after that thing that you want, with all your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope, and confidence, stern tenacity, if neither cold poverty, famine gaunt, nor sickness nor pain of body or brain can turn you away from the thing you want, if dogged and grim you besiege and beset it, you'll get it. Now, Neumont, class of 2021, cohort 34, we got it. We did it. We have success. Good job. You're extraordinary for this effort. Finally, I'd like to just thank everyone. Thank you to my family. Thanks, Dad, for signing that loan so I could come here. Thank you, Mom, for encouraging me to go to my dream school. Thank you for my siblings. Thank you for the friends I've made here, the old and new. Thank you for the faculty. Thank you for our presidents, our teachers, the administrators, the advocates, all those people that tutored me, and just thank you so much. So remember, keep on working hard, keep on being humble, and keep on succeeding, because we are extraordinary. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Next, we'll welcome Jeffrey Ream, who'll be giving his valedictorian remarks. Jeffrey Ream was born in American Fork, Utah, to a German father and an American mother. He has a close relationship with his parents, who sparked a passion for computer science in him at a young age. In high school, he participated in the Air Force Association's National Youth Cyber Defense Competition and placed in state tiers for multiple years. He was also on the yearbook committee and served as the senior class vice president. When he graduated, he was awarded the title of Knight, the school's highest honor. After considering several colleges, he chose Neumont for the promising program and the small, tight-knit community. At Neumont, he worked as an academic coach, served as the executive treasurer of the Unified Student Government, and was awarded Student of the Quarter. His capstone project, called Crypt, combined his passion for web design, software engineering, and cybersecurity. Jeffrey was recently offered a position as a developer at Amelicor in Provo, Utah. Jeffrey.
Good afternoon, guests, friends, families, and the class of 2021. I'm thrilled to welcome you here and reflect on these last few years with you. They have certainly been eventful, with an unusual political climate, natural disasters around the world, and to top it all off, the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the unique challenges our cohort has faced over the years, I have witnessed so many of my peers withstand the turmoil and come out more refined and capable than ever. To them I say, I am proud to be graduating at your side, and I'm excited to see the incredible things you will do in the future. When I first started at Neumont, I had just graduated from high school. I was timid, wary of a new environment, and lacking order and direction in my life. For the first time, I was stuck in an environment where I seemingly had nothing in common with anyone around me, and I struggled to find my fit. I struggled to make friends and manage my time. I struggled with a long daily commute to an unfamiliar city. The only thing I had going for me was my strong desire to succeed, so I worked harder than I ever had before. I made sacrifices I could barely afford to assert myself in my work. I was proud of each assignment I turned in. At the end of a rough quarter, I was surprised to learn that I had earned a perfect 4.0 GPA. I had never seen such a high number on my transcript, and I was determined to maintain it. Suddenly, my grades became my focus, setting a precedent which would guide me for years to come. As a result of that first critical quarter, I found the motivation to continue to seize the many small opportunities that would contribute to becoming the person that is standing before you today. My message to you today is simple: seize your moment. In addition to academic success, seizing my moment has led to many lasting friendships while at Neumont. The story of how I met my good friend, Chris Daisley, is a perfect example. Chris is a very outgoing, friendly, and genuine person, the kind of person that everybody wants to be friends with. I seized the moment to get to know him by striking a conversation and by returning the friendliness that he showed to me. Chris has been a loyal friend and supported me as we took the same journey toward being a valedictorian. I am honored to share this stage with him. I started my college career as an apprehensive, uneasy freshman that had nowhere to go but up. As time went on, I learned important lessons and formed relationships that enabled me to grow as a person, and I've witnessed similar stories dozens of times over with my peers. I can testify that the graduating class of 2021 is composed of strong individuals of humble origins who truly appreciate the opportunity to learn and who take nothing for granted. They are not to be underestimated, and I consider myself privileged to be counted among them. I'd like to thank Neumont for providing this incredible opportunity, and I'd like to thank each of the members of the faculty and staff who have inspired me, assisted in my education, and provided an environment conducive to growth. I'd like to thank my 6 sisters and my brother, all of whom are in attendance or watching online, for being the best siblings a man can ask for. And I thank all of my friends for making my journey just that much more enjoyable. I'm going to take a moment now to thank my mom and dad, who have supported me unwaveringly and sacrificed much of their own time to help me succeed, and without whom I would not be standing up here delivering this speech. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I truly love and appreciate you. I now address the class of 2021 directly. As you are graduating and moving into the industry, I invite each of you personally to take a moment to consider where you would be if you did not make the choice to attend Neumont. Consider where you would be if you did not take that leap of faith and seize your moment. In the coming years, I hope that you remember my message and seize your moments with courage and purpose. I'm proud of each of you for sticking around until the finish line. We made it. And to the rest of you, I appreciate all of you for allowing me to take a moment of your time and attention, and I encourage you to ponder what my message may mean in your lives as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeffrey. We're now pleased to hear from our keynote speaker, Sarah Jones. Sarah Jones has advocated throughout her career for the benefits of greater diversity in our companies, boardrooms, and circles of power. As CEO of Inclusion Pro, Sarah builds transformative strategies for diversity, inclusion, and equity. Inclusion Pro's clients include companies in technology, engineering, healthcare, manufacturing, financial services, legal services, e-commerce, distribution, and nonprofit organizations. Sarah was adopted from South Korea at 3 years old and miraculously found her birth family after 42 years of separation. TED featured her powerful story on go.ted.com/Sarah Jones. Sarah is the co-founder of Women Tech Council, established in 2007, a national organization focused on the economic impact of women in driving high growth for the technology sector. She also serves on the Utah State Workforce Development Board of Trustees for Intermountain Healthcare, Salt Lake Valley Hospitals, and the Executive Board of Silicon Slopes. Sarah began her career as a patent attorney at the law firm Workman Niger and became a partner. She then took on a leadership role as head of business development at School Improvement Network, an educational technology company. VP of Strategic Development at Patent Law Works, a Silicon Valley law firm, and CEO of Applicant Pro, an HR technology company. Sarah was honored as a University of Utah Distinguished Alum in 2021, Utah Business Magazine CEO of the Year in 2019, and received a Distinguished Alumna Award from the University of Utah College of Engineering in 2017. Sarah was a Utah Innovation Awardee. She and her husband reside in Salt Lake City, Utah, with their 2 kids and 2 dogs.
Thank you, President Reed. It is such an incredible honor to speak with your graduates today. 23 years ago, I was you, a newly minted engineering graduate, and I thought I would be headed to law school and spend the next 40 years of my life protecting people's inventions, ideas, and innovations as a patent attorney. Little did I know all of the twists and turns that my career path was going to take. Back then, the internet was just coming online, and so many software opportunities were presenting themselves. I studied engineering at the University of Utah, which was an early pioneer in the World Wide Web. My personal computing was just becoming a reality back then. My first home computer was a VIC-20, and then a Commodore 64. My first programming language, the computer programming language I learned, was so basic that it was literally called BASIC. The data was stored on magnetic cassette tapes, and now we have quantum computing that will revolutionize technology as we know it. Many of us have recently been inspired by civilians pushing the boundaries of space travel. Just as computer technology has evolved over decades of experimentation and innovation, each successful space mission relied on previous stages of development to achieve their goal. Each of you graduates stands on the shoulders of innovators who paved the way so that you can solve the problems of the future. As a patent attorney, I saw hundreds of inventions, and combined with my engineering degree, it gave me a launchpad to innovate my way to a unique career path. I love Neumont University's slogan, "Different by design." My life was designed differently. I was adopted from South Korea when I was 3 years old. I arrived in America with a mysterious large tattoo on my left forearm. No one knew what the tattoo meant. The tattoo was in the shape of a cross and 4 dots underneath. My American parents wanted to protect me from the judgment that they knew that my tattoo would create. I mean, let's just be honest. Tattoos are not accepted in the 1970s as they are today, right? So they had the tattoo removed through plastic surgery, and all that remained was a light scar on my arm. 3 years ago, I drew over my tattoo scar with a permanent marker and I posted a photo on social media. Thanks to technology, I soon learned that I had 2 older brothers who also had the same tattoo. My father had given us our tattoos before he sent us to the welfare center. He had been injured and could not care for us, and he expected to return for us someday. And my 2 older brothers did return to live with my father again. Someone at the foster center separated me from my brothers and sent me to an orphanage for adoption. My Korean family was only told that I was adopted out of the country, and my father unfortunately died before he could ever see me again. My story illustrates the power that technology has to change lives. When my father gave me my tattoo 45 years ago, he could never have fathomed the technology that we have today. Social media, digital photography, and genetic testing were all innovations that were critical to my journey to find my origin story. I'm happy to tell you that 3 years ago, I went to Korea with my husband and children to meet my 2 older brothers and my aunt and uncle, and to visit the city where I was born. Technology is helping millions of adoptees all over the world find their roots. Growing up in Utah, I often felt different in other ways. I was a little bit on the outside of any group that I was in. I went into STEM, which was very unusual for women in my generation. Happily, that has changed through efforts like Women Tech Council, which I founded as a patent attorney. I was the first woman with children to make partner at my law firm. And then I left the field of law to take a completely different job. My colleagues were very confused of why I would leave such a successful career path. I've created content, scaled a nonprofit, launched several technology products, and partnered on several large deals, and been a tech CEO, which brings me to my current strategic role as a consultant. I still continue to be one of few women and Asian leaders in any corporate room that I'm in, and I hope to see a future where I'm just one of many women and women of color in those rooms. Shortly before his death in 2005, Steve Jobs, the well-known CEO of Apple, who also happens to be adopted, made this poignant quote in a Stanford graduation commencement speech. He said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future." Connecting the dots backward, I can see how I built on each career step to make possible the specialized work that I do now. I could never have envisioned then that top executives would trust me to advise them on corporate growth strategy. And it has always remained true that my college education provided the launchpad to my future career. I know many of you are worried about making the right career decisions. Our first career steps feel so big and important, but the beginning is not the end. Often your first real job is just a launchpad into unknown opportunities throughout the rest of your life. Doubt and uncertainty may keep you from leaping into a great opportunity. I've always loved the character Elphaba in the musical Wicked, and it is so fitting that I saw Wicked in this same Capitol Theater that we're celebrating in today. Elphaba, whose skin is green and who has magical powers, has felt misunderstood her whole life. I really identified with her. She sings these lyrics as she learns her power to fly. I'm through accepting limits because someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I'd sooner buy defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, I'm defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. It's often in taking the leap, that calculated risk, that you will realize your true skills and talents. Many meaningful opportunities are outside of your comfort zone. I hope that each of your career leaps will give you room to spread your wings, launch into space, or at the very least, ride your broom. Neumont University has a magnificent track record of placing students into jobs, and you've already had a taste of team collaboration through Neumont's unique business partnership model. As you apply your project-based learning in your new roles, I want to share 3 things that I've learned about accomplishing your career goals. First, learn to love learning. Each of the steps in my career gave me new learning opportunities. I do not regret any of the experiences that I have had. And because I've been in so many different roles, I learned to value that all roles are needed to make a successful organization. Right now, there is a salary war going on for good technologists, and it can be very tempting to think that you are special, more so than other people in your organization. I experienced a similar salary war during law school. Patent attorneys were very much in demand, and the salaries kept getting higher and higher. As a new attorney, I received some very good advice. Treat your executive assistant very well. She knows how to practice law better than you do. This is true. We all have a lot to learn as we're starting out. I marvel at the brilliance of younger generations who absorb so much information so quickly. When you start to feel frustrated that your team members don't value your ideas or they're not keeping up with your line of thought, take a moment to pause. Stay curious and ask yourself, what might I learn from this person's experience and their viewpoint? Listen carefully, and you'll discover insights that you could never learn from school or from a search engine. You will always create more value by learning how your work matters to business, to customers, and to your community. Second, learn to partner with others to create value. Partnerships are key to great team collaboration. The smartest software engineer in the world can end up being the least valuable member of a team if they don't know how to work well with others. The best technologists have the ability to partner with others in the organization to create business value. Partnerships include the ability to give and receive feedback. Truthfully, when I was younger, I struggled to collaborate with people. Even though I was bright and ambitious, my adoption made it difficult for me to trust people, so I always put up an emotional wall. I wanted to be the best at everything. I did not take criticism well, so any feedback felt like a mortal wound. You can imagine that it made it difficult for people to want to work with me. Over time, I had great mentors in my career who taught me the value of feedback. Now, I often am the first to ask for feedback. I value surrounding myself with people who push me to be better in my work and leadership. I also found that I work best with others who also understand the concept of partnership. True partners help each other succeed, and this sometimes means giving feedback to help each other improve. This is true in our career lives and in our personal lives. Many of you have loved ones here today who are showing their support and partnership of you, so make sure to give them a hug after the ceremony. Third, learn to humanize others. We are living in an incredibly challenging time where information and opinions are abundant and unity feels hard to achieve. Just as in my adoption story and Elphaba's story in Wicked, stories are often more complex than we think. We like to cast characters as good or evil. No one understands binary better than a group of software engineers. But in the real world, situations are not just ones and zeros. Resist the temptation to label someone good if they agree with you and evil if they don't. In my current role, I work with executives to integrate inclusion and diversity into their core business strategy. It is both strategic and emotional work. I'm honored to have many frank and honest conversations with leaders during this process. You'll be very happy to know that leaders are striving hard to build cultures where you can do your best work. Your generation cares deeply about social justice and about elevating the human condition. We are understanding more and more how to build workplaces where people can feel heard and understood and do their best work. Leaders are very aware of these shifts in the workplace, but this work can feel slow to those in the organization who are passionate about culture change. Often the foundation for a sustainable diversity and inclusion strategy isn't always visible to the larger organization. If you're passionate about inclusive cultures, you can help move the work faster by remembering that your leaders are human. They are learning and growing too. Most of them did not have the native experiences in multicultural knowledge, gender identity, and sexual orientation that many in this generation naturally absorb. It can be very easy to judge a leader who is learning in this area. Offer to help leaders learn, be their partner, and model for them what inclusion looks and sounds like. As we learn side by side, we will build cultures that humanize everyone. Congratulations to each of you graduates today. This is such a special day. Continue to use that learning mindset that you had here at Neumont. We've got some big problems to solve in this world. I can't wait to see what you create. Thank you.
Will the candidates for Bachelor of Science please rise? In accordance with the laws of the state of Utah, the certification requirements of the Accrediting Commission of Career Schools and Colleges, and the graduation requirements of Neumont College of Computer Science, I have the honor of presenting the following candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Bachelor of Science in Software and Game Development, Bachelor of Science in Information Systems, Bachelor of Science in Business Technology Management, Bachelor of Science in Web Design and Development, Bachelor of Science in Software Engineering, and Associate of Science in Software Development.
On behalf of Neumont College of Computer Science, I accept these graduates. Graduates, you may now turn your tassels to symbolize that you have met the requirements for graduation.
For the Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, Charlie Ramirez. Ashlyn Hilliard. Adam Holt. Daniel Badak. Serhasub Lopez. Moore. Jose Rosado Diaz. Luis Matute. Gladys Stoner. Brooke Showers. Kathy Broderick. Jacob Bella. Manuel Benado. Zane Slocum. Lene Lafiti. Zoe Lynn. Nancy Vega. Jacob Nuttall. Kevin Weeks. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Software and Game Development. Lane Allen. Dakota Burt. Ryder James. Zane Stockton. Vernon Howerton. Cole Light. Oscar Cabrera Luna. Jason Clark. Adam Houston. Kyle Johnston. Troy Turner. Gage Kinsey. Joshua Favor. Lane Masterson. Alejandro Piedra. Andrew Jensen. Hunter Lemley. Eric Poppleton. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Systems. Alex Ace Eldringhoff. Nathan Barker. Matthew Nichols. Gavin Weber. The Rocky McCleary. Joshua Van Antwerp. Candidates for the Bachelor of Science in Business Technology Operations Management. Noel Taves. Austin Lenhart. Sierra Anderson. Javid Reed Resto. Jordan Easemeyer. Hunter Lytle. Tobin Blank. Candidates for Bachelors of Science in Web Design and Development. Christopher J. Daisley. Jeffrey Ream. Clayton Schrumpf. Mariela Cisneros Hernandez. Austin Blandford. Lua Schmallinger. Eric Young. Derry Germain. Logan Tyler. Brandon Goldsberry. Wesley Monk. Jacob Kelly Martinez. Dwight Harris. Candidates for Bachelor of Science in Software Engineering. Nash Molstad. London Flynn. Riley Bird. Braxton Knapp. Andrew Pavlo. Candidate for Associate of Science in Software Development. Chaz Janke.
Congratulations, graduates. You are now a Neumont College of Computer Science alumni. I'd like to give one special thanks again for the Maywood String Quartet for their kind of mix of graduation Star Wars funk music. Appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate your support over the years, and congratulations with graduates. Guests, will you please stand and remain standing while the graduates exit the stage?